Hey YouTube, my name's Meredith. I've been playing the violin since 2004, and today we're looking at the Glarry GV103 violin that was sent to us. I'm going to be going through a couple things, and there will be time codes right here, so if you wanted to look at me go through either setup, a performance example, and my overall thoughts, you can check out those time codes. Otherwise, let's just dive right into this. So for this model, I ended up going with the white, just wanted a funky color. So you'll notice that the strings are here, but the bridge is not in place, so that is something we're going to go do in a second. But let's keep going over what else is in the package. We also have the shoulder rest if you'd like to use one. I know I do. That just goes there. And then we also see that it came with extra strings that we have in case you ever break one. And then we also have the rosin, which goes with the bow. So before we can play this bow, the first thing we need to do is tighten it, and then we also need to put rosin on it, or else it's not going to make any sound. We obviously got the instructions, which spells us all out. This also came with a violin pitch pipe, which I have never seen before, so like this is really cute. Obviously there are traditional tuners, which is what I will probably stick to if you wanted to buy one, you know, just a clip-on, get them at any music store. But this is like a really cute addition. Oh, I love that. I love that a lot, actually. So the last thing that you're going to need to find in your package is the bridge, which for mine was tucked right here. You just got to kind of pull it out. There it is. There's the bridge. So let's get this installed so you can get playing. We're going to take the strings and untuck them from under the fingerboard right here. Now what we want to make sure happens is that these strings are lined up in the little divots at the top. You'll see that. And then we're going to come back down here. So the bridge should go about, I don't know, eyeball it. That's what I do, about the center. If it feels like the bridge is too tight to install, right here, I'm feeling a little nervous. Just come up here and we're just going to loosen the strings a little bit by turning the pegs towards you. So we're just going to loosen up. So there we go. I just slid that in, but we can see the strings are very loose. So now we're going to get on to tuning. So just keep in mind that with any new strings, the strings are going to slip and detune themselves when you first get them. But over time, as they strengthen, or stretch, excuse me, as they stretch out, that will stop happening. Another thing to remember when tuning, if your screws down here are loose, the fine tuners, just tighten those first. Because if they're loose, they're going to start vibrating and we don't want that. So primarily you should be using the tune pegs up here to start and the fine tuners for fine tuning once you get very close. So I am going to use my not included tuner just to make sure everything sounds right. Alright, so as stated earlier, before you can use your bow, we need to tighten it. And we also need to add rosin to it. The rosin is what gives it the sound, otherwise there's no sound. So get your rosin, and I usually use a coin, but you do need to kind of like make a mess with the rosin. Well, the rosin disintegrated in my hand. Alright, so instead you're gonna go buy some rosin. I highly recommend buying your own rosin. So as you can see, I've already kind of taken a coin to it, and there's kind of a divot in it from all this rosining I've done over the years. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. Alright, once you have your rosin and your violin tuned and retuned if most likely needed for new strings, throw on the chin rest if that's something you like using. I love this one because it's foldable, which is just like the main one I use, so I'll have to use it over time and see how the durability is. But the fact that it was included in the kit is a nice little perk. So I'm going to set up my microphone and we're going to see how this sounds. the last thing I'm going to talk about are my overall thoughts on this instrument. So honestly, I wasn't expecting to get so many accessories when I was opening this, and if you're starting out as a violinist, it really gives you everything that you need for the most part, which is why I appreciate Glarry for trying to set you guys up to be ready to play. So let's just quickly talk about the case itself. Is wonderful. This is pretty standard for like cheaper violins, and these cases have held up over time. The most I've had was like maybe a decade old case. One of my zippers broke, but that's on me for yanking it too hard. But I'm still using them. And then same for the bow and the violin. Like for $75 at the time of this filming, like you're getting everything you need. But I do have some suggestions on how to make this instrument sound a bit better if you are getting serious about playing the violin. The first thing I would recommend is switching out the strings. The strings are, they're on the cheaper end because you got this all for a great price. So I would highly recommend going to your local music shop, support local if you can, and buy some violin strings. As an advanced player, I've switched over to dominant strings, but in college I liked using Red Label because they were affordable for someone who had no money. So dominants run at $60, $70, $80 a set. Red Label, you're looking at $20. So just go see what's available, what's in your price range, and also just what feels good to you. But if you're still like learning, you can use these strings in the meantime. It's just definitely gonna sound better once you upgrade them. And I would recommend just keeping these as a spare for an emergency, but otherwise I wouldn't recommend using the strings. And the last thing I would say to upgrade down the road is your bow. There's nothing like super wrong with this bow. It's just the weight's a little off. The feel feels a little incorrect for, again, cheaper parts, but you are getting a functional one that works in the meantime. So if you do stick with the violin, I highly recommend switching to a carbon fiber. That's just me, but I love it. It's so lightweight. It just feels really good, but these can run to be $100 or more. So the nice thing is you get everything you need, but then as you keep going, you can start to upgrade. Before I eventually recommend upgrading to an acoustic violin that you can get at your local music shop, or a fancy electric violin. Those are always fun. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I love talking to you guys. I want to help. Did I miss something important? Tell me and I will answer it. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.
I've been trying my best to feel safe in my skin. Blur the lines to make up for my selfish pretense.